Thank you. I would like to thank the Greater Miami Federation for organizing and for giving me the opportunity to speak. The assault occurring against Israel is within the realm of ideas, and this is clearly manifest within the ivory towers of the Academy. I would like to begin my talk by summarizing my experiences as a student on campus and my involvement working with students, and then extrapolate from those experiences the macro issues of the delegitimization phenomena within the Academy. Let me begin with my personal experiences as a graduate student at Harvard Divinity School in 2002. Harvard Divinity School accepted $2.5 million as an initial payment for the creation of a $5 million professorship in the field of Islamic studies from the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. I can tell you as a student of Islam and Arabic, this type of position was much needed at the school. As background, it is important to note that Sheikh Zayed developed the Zayed Center, which was considered to be the major think tank of the Arab League based in Abu Dhabi. The think tank's activities included inviting individuals who claimed that Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent, that the United States government was behind the attacks of September 11th. They translated the writings of Holocaust deniers David Irving and Roger Garudi into Arabic, and invited professors from various universities, one especially from King Faisal University, who resurrected the medieval blood libel accusation against the Jews. These are just a few examples of the kinds of things the Zayed Center supported. Furthermore, Sheikh Zayed and one of his 5 wives provided the financial defense of Holocaust denier Roger Garudi during his trial. The terms of agreement, the legal contract between the donor and the university, presented 2 major problems. Firstly, the agreement called for an exchange of academics between Harvard University and the Zayed Center. This was problematic because the types of activities at the Zayed Center were by no means beneficial to Harvard, nor were they academic in nature. And the individuals associated within the Zayed Center should not be legitimized by having a position at Harvard University. Secondly, the terms of agreement stipulated that the appointment of the Zayed professorship would have to be approved by Sheikh Zayed in order to receive the full funding. So in essence, Sheikh Zayed would control not only who was teaching, but what actually was to be taught. My goal was to have the Divinity School return the $2.5 million and seek reputable funding to create a position in Islamic studies. Thank you. After a 1.5 years worth of effort, Harvard decided to return the funds and has since sought reputable funding and has hired a professor for the position. The 2 main goals of this campaign were accomplished. Firstly, raising awareness about the Zayed Center and its endowment to Harvard, and also stopping Harvard from accepting the donation. However, it did not mean that the overarching issues had ceased to exist. Other universities, such as Columbia University and Georgetown University, received donations from Zayed in the UAE, and these institutions were holding on to the funds and showed no signs of relinquishing them. It became apparent to me that this problem was not unique to Harvard, and moreover, this was an issue affecting hundreds of higher educational institutions. As a result of these efforts, I felt I had a responsibility to work with students to address similar concerns on other campuses. I began working for an organization called the David Project with students in the greater New York area so as to help them develop strategies to counter anti-Israel and, in some cases, anti-Semitic issues on their respective campuses. I met a group of thoughtful, concerned students from Columbia University who expressed their desire to create positive change within the university by confronting discrimination against supporters of Israel and Zionism. Students were concerned about a handful of faculty members within the Middle Eastern Studies Department who used the classroom as a bully pulpit to promote a particular agenda. These teachers engaged in one-sided teaching by intimidating students who were supporters of Israel and Zionism, and the university lacked a clear grievance procedure for students to voice their complaints in a manner that protected them. It was also known that Zayed had given about $200,000 toward the creation of the Edward Said Chair of Middle East Studies, and Columbia was unwilling to return the funds despite Harvard's recent actions. After a number of months of exploring the situation at Columbia, it was clear that the students needed a medium to express their discontent. The students suggested creating a film outlining the issues within the department and using the film as a tool to educate about the problem. The film Columbia Unbecoming was produced in 2004 in collaboration with the Columbia students in an effort to collect student testimonials about classroom incidents and campus experiences that revealed an alarming trend of bias, intimidation, and hostility toward open discussion and debate. In the film, American Jews and Israelis studying at Columbia recount being silenced and intimidated by professors and classmates for holding views sympathetic to Israel, or in some cases, for simply being Jewish. Columbia had allowed professors and the students' minds to create a department that was a hostile environment which failed to demand rigorous scholarship or balanced academic inquiry. Professors had intimidated students based on ethnic or national origin in violation of the university's code of ethics. Beyond student testimonials, I gathered over 24 off-the-record interviews with faculty members, tenured and non-tenured, at Columbia, expressing their concern about the department, Middle Eastern Studies Department, and academic intimidation occurring on campus. Faculty members reiterated the students' sentiments and experiences, yet were unwilling to be taped or filmed for fear of reprisal. They equated participating in the video as career suicide, and most scholars felt it would jeopardize their credibility as academicians. Even some students felt they needed to protect their identities in the film and asked for their voices to be altered and their faces to be masked, so as to ensure that their future academic standings would not be harmed. The students struggled to understand why other professors and members of the administration remained silent. I can discuss the details of the Columbia campaign at a later time, but the overall impact of the campaign is best summarized by Martin Kramer, who stated that Columbia Unbecoming, quote, put a human face on the dysfunction of Middle Eastern studies. The situation at Columbia is not unique. Students at many other universities across the country regularly face politicized Middle East departments. The differences may only be in the degree to which this professorial misconduct occurs. Both the endowment situation at Harvard and the faculty abuse of the classroom at Columbia are merely two cases which received public attention. The most insidious element of this campaign is professors who use their classrooms and academic positions to miseducate and at times incite students against Israel, and in some cases, even Jews. It is important to keep in mind that most students on campus are politically apathetic, including most Jewish students, and that this problem is localized to certain fields in humanities and Middle Eastern Studies departments. But their impact is significant. Palestinianism has become the cause célèbre and the litmus test for progressives on too many campuses. This campaign, although it does include legitimate criticism of Israel and American policy, primarily expends its energy and resources targeting the delegitimization of the State of Israel, the demonization of Israel, and sometimes it morphs into subtle or even overt anti-Semitism. Clearly, the goal of this campaign is to reduce American support for Israel. Part of the enabling mechanism for this hostility toward Israel and its supporters is the institutional insensitivity by many university administrations. There is a reluctance to deal with this issue honestly because it is complicated by the clever use of the language of human rights and framing the problems of the conflict by anti-Israel groups. Students, faculty, and alumni need to make university administrations aware of the problem on campus, ensure academic integrity, and a hostile-free environment. During the question and answer session, I'd be happy to discuss some of the roots, engines, and tools associated with the phenomena of the delegitimization of Israel within the Academy as they provide insight into these issues. I came today to recount what I think are significant episodes in the long history of campus combat regarding Israel. I tell you these stories not only because I know them intimately, but also because I believe that Hasbara, the responding to charges against Israel, is an abject failure and must be replaced with a strategic offense. My stories give a glimpse of how that could work. I know I have portrayed what seems to be a pessimistic outlook about the state of our academies, but I must say that there are some very positive developments occurring, and I'd be happy to discuss those during the question and answer session. However, despite the positive initiatives, I believe there is much work that needs to be done, and we have the ability as a community to create the necessary changes.